Coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios in Hollywood, California, Pensado's Place is brought to you by Vintage King, the Blackbird Academy, Avid, Recording Connection, Studio 202, Slate Media Technologies and Slate Digital, and Audio Technica.
Our guest is an Indian alternative genius. You're going to enjoy meeting him. Gear Expo's upon us. We've got a brand new ITL. We got news you can use. You're at the travel version of the place. You're at Pensado's Place. Hey guys, a little bit different this week. We are about to catch a plane in a few hours. We're heading south for Gear Expo. Lots of good stuff. Your likes and subscribes, always appreciated. We'll update you on some numbers next week on that. Gear Expo upon us, September 27th in Nashville. You know all the guests. We've added Christian Crux Thomas, who DJs with Lady Antebellum and also works in EDM. We've added Roxanne Ricks from Audio Technica. Karma Banstra is going to be there to talk about education. You know all the other superstars, Jakir King, Justin Niebank, Richard Dodd, Gary Pexel. I mean, there's just so many folks. Be there. Keep in mind, do not park at Vintage King. Do not park at Vintage King. Go to 100 Oaks Mall. Take the shuttle. We can't wait to see you. Go to gearexponashville.com for all the information. We'll see you down there. Next calendar event. And as you see, we're here in Dave's room mixing because the airport is not that far away. So coming up right after Gear Expo, Dave is down at the Blackbird Studios. We're going to be doing one of their infamous sessions. He's there September 29th through October 3rd. We'll shoot a live show from there for Pensado's Place for the following week. So still a couple slots left open for that. Go to Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com, CARMA at theblackbirdacademy.com. Last element is the big old AES convention coming up. That's going to be a busy week for Team Pensado. We want to see you there. Here's what you do. On October 10th, we're the feature of their Platinum panel. There's going to be a bunch of big announcements there. Some, thanks to you, some very interesting things we're going to be talking about soon. The next day, Saturday the 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning, we'll be at the Hal Leonard booth for a book signing. I believe that booth number is 1141. We'll put notations there to make sure. Come see us, give us a chance to sign our book and get it to you. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll be at the Audio Technica booth. We're going to do a Reddit Ask Me Anything and also show you two really incredible new products that they're going to launch. Dave has played with these things. I've played with them. We both are really, really, really big fans of theirs. For this week, guys, Avid still has a couple more Pro Tools to give to you. We will post the winners at our website. Will blast those things out because we're in a plane on our way to Nashville. Guys, I get to do this for once out of 170 some odd episodes, so I get to introduce the ITL because we are on our way to the airport. So check this one out. Dave and Cole got down on this one. This is making your drum sounds bigger using real ambience. Check it out.
From time to time, my client asked me to make the drums have a little more live sound to them, maybe to create a little more energy, a little more space, various reasons. I did this a while back on a Keisha Cole song called Love. I took the recorded drums, I fed them back out to some speakers in the live room at the studio, and then I mic'd those speakers, and then I brought that back in like an effect return. So right now I want you to take a look at the live room at Echo Bar Studios, where we actually took some drums from Chrisette Michelle's new album, one of the songs. Cole set up some speakers. We mic'd those speakers and we brought it back in. You can do it in stereo or mono. We did ours in mono this time. Justin Lyons and Vince Seeley and Gil Smith and Chrisette asked me to make the drums a little more live. She's trying to go for a particular effect. And I want to show you how we did it. I think you'll find this interesting. Now, this concept can work on vocals, which we did on this particular song. It'll work on guitars, which we did, and we actually put a little bit of this on the bass. One of the things that I like to do when I'm doing this is I like to experiment with the high-end information like cymbals and and hi-hats and stuff like that, percussion. A lot of times when I go back and run those through a live space again, they tend to crunch a little bit and get unpleasant. And this song, it really sounded good, just leaving them. We've got them a little lower than they probably need to be. Let me play you a piece of the before. Now, we recorded the live room, just so I'll show you why in a second. It gives you a little more control. So this. I'm gonna mute the live room. Here's the drum track. I can hear you saying now, "Damn, Dave, that sounds pretty good." Well, I know. I've been working on it for like 4 or 5 hours, so it should sound pretty good. But it didn't sound like what we needed for the song. So you saw what we did. Now let me show you what it sounds like. So check this out. That's a little louder than I used it in the final mix, but I want you to hear it at that volume just so you could tell. I'm going to bring it down. That's about where we used it in the mix. And you'll be hearing this record really soon. It's an EP coming out in a couple of months. Chrisette Michele. This song is called Super Chick. It's a really fun song. I just said that wrong. It's called Super Chris, Super Chick, which she is, but Super Chris, cool song. Now, as you know, and you guys have been hanging with me for a few episodes, I'm just not happy leaving stuff too normal. So I want to show you what happens when I take this sound and add a little bit of a reverb to it. So we're going to add like a stock room to our ambient sound. Check it out. Okay, now that gives you one option. Now another option, and I wanted to show you just your basic deverb. I've got it on a medium non-lin, so this is without it. Okay, that's not good enough. You know us guys, we still got to mess with it. So let's make all this stuff wider. You can see a lot of possibilities. Once you get it recorded, you can split it up into two separate mono tracks. You can shift the timing on one. I'll do that really fast for you. So now we've got these two mono tracks. Let's make this one a little bit later. So let's do it with some samples. So let's try this real quick, guys. get the idea. The concept is just use your imagination. You can do all kinds of stuff, and you can create things that exist in the real world, which we like a lot of times sonically as humans. And then you can create things that don't exist, which can play with your brain and do some psychoacoustic things. We could pitch one side up, one side down. We could slide this one forward a little bit, this one backwards. Just use your imagination, because this is a really cool way to take drums that don't have any built-in ambience because they're, say, a sample, or maybe they were gated too much, or maybe the room that they were recorded in was dead. And just have fun with it. I can't believe I just said have fun with it, but you guys know what I mean. All right, next time.
Lots of interesting stuff with our guest, Matt Linesch, let alone being a devotee and a mentor for Recording Connection, one of our favorite sponsors. We got a really cool ITL coming with he and Dave and a student named Hannah somewhere down the road. Stay tuned for that. He just rocks the kind of organic alternative rock area, and we are pleased to have him at the desk,
Thank
bro.
you so much.
Cool,
Absolutely.
cool hat, cool beard. Fire
We
away.
gotta stop meeting like this.
I know, right? It's cool.
Hey man, guys, I hung out with him yesterday, and I was so blown away. Herb and I both said, "Man, we gotta talk to Matt tomorrow on the show." Man, Matt, you came up under Ross Hogarth, and when you come up under a personality that strong, would your career have been different had you come up over someone else? You think under someone else?
Oh, I think absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Ross he's a pro.
Yeah,
He's
he
so good. Everything he does is incredible. So for me, coming out of school, chased him down the hall. He was lecturing at the university I was at. And I said, hey man, I'm graduating in a couple months. I knew I was just gonna keep learning as you continue to in this career. So I worked with him for, God, like 4 years or so.
Wow.
And you know, you want drums recorded, you want whatever it is, makes it sound so good. So I became like, almost more of like a personal assistant to him in the sense that we would go to studios, and at that point, and I'd learned how he wanted things set up, so I'd set it up with him.
Which is a great way to learn, because
Yeah.
I think you do that with Cole. Like, it's not just being in the studio, it's
Right.
also what happens outside the studios
Absolutely.
and what happens in between.
Totally.
Time. Don't you think there's value there?
Oh heck yeah! There's certain parts of my job and Ross's job where if we had to set up mics and drums, we'd be worn out by the
Oh,
time
yeah.
we needed our creativity, and so we really rely on the people that we work with. And
Yeah.
so with Ross, the thing that I find unusual is you went to film school.
I went to film school, but the film school I was in had an emphasis on audio, and then half of
What school was it?
it was Loyola Marymount here in LA.
That's where Will, our producer, went to school.
Yeah, it's great school,
Yeah.
and half the department is film based and half of it is music based. So, I did both, and I focused on both really. And when I got out of school, did a lot of film work, and then I just said, I can't. I gotta just do music.
Yeah.
Always playing music, being in bands, things like that. I had to just go back to music.
Give me the school, the sort of the education versus instinctive balance. Education is good as a premise, but then you got to go your own way.
Yeah, I think education gave me it was like an introduction to a book.
Okay.
And then I got out of school and knew enough not to be like totally inept in a studio or something. But then my education, even in the first year of say working with Ross, it was just like learned so much, and you still learn. And unfortunately, I've been able to work with groups and bands that allow that learning to continue, because we all are kind of on this quest together. So that's a blessing.
Ross, the first winner.
That's right.
The Pensado Award ever for tracking. He was the #1 guy.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
tell
number
you
one.
what, I don't think there's a better, nicer, more intelligent, gifted human being on the planet than
Love
him.
Ross. Great dude.
You mentioned that you learn a lot from your clientele too. So,
Sure.
there's a cat from the past, Dave Mason.
Dave, yeah.
You've been working with him. You actually reached out to him because you were influenced by his guitar playing, like we all.
Yeah, I
were.
met him at a party, And I went up and I saw this guy sitting in the corner. I said, hey, I go by Linesch, so I said, hey, my name's Linesch. He's like, I'm Dave Mason. I met other Dave Masons before, but at that time I was feeling a little loose, had a couple of drinks. And I was like, you mean the guy from Traffic? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, man. When I first started playing guitar, all I played were Traffic songs.
Wow.
All I played were Dave Mason songs.
Same here.
And we became good friends. You know, at that time I was living in Ojai. I had my studio in Ojai, and he lives in Ojai. And in fact, I just got back from Ojai with him last Sunday, and he had a Grammy Museum special last night.
Nice.
And so went over and saw him. He talked for about an hour and then played for a little while last night.
Sweet.
So we did a record together called Futures Past, which was a lot of fun. It was some redos of some of his old songs, and then some of it was some new songs. And then there's, potential new record that we were looking at last week up in Ohio.
Oh, very cool.
Did it have? It slipped right out of my brain. The big song. What's the big song he did?
Feeling All Right?
Feeling All Right. Did you redo Feeling All Right?
I mean, I've worked on redos of that and all. Yeah, absolutely. He's got a cool version of it he does now when he's doing a 3-piece acoustic, which is kind of fun. And he changes the key a bit and adds an extra note. I mean, the original one was only 2 chords.
Wow.
He wrote it when he was, I think, 19.
Oh, no joke.
I might be getting the location wrong, but it was when he had just quit Traffic, because he left Traffic after the first album, and then he went to the Bahamas when he was 19. So I want to write. At that time, he was playing sitar, and sitar that George Harrison had given him. So he was playing a lot of really complicated stuff, and he said, "I'm just going to write the simplest song I can," and wrote "Feeling All Right" when he was like 19 years old.
Amazing.
Yeah. But great person to work with.
I bet.
A lot of fun.
I guess it's safe to say that well, no, it's not safe to say, but I was exposed to you first through Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. By the way, great records.
Thank you.
There's a movement of which he's a part, but some of the other participants in that movement are a little lame, if you know what I mean. And he's not, man.
No, Alex is great.
And has that been because of an influence from you, or is he just constructed that way, or a little bit of both?
Alex is a creative force. I mean, I'm blessed to be part of it, and blessed to be able to, join in on the fun and be just as creative. The whole environment that circles him in that band is creativity, and it's happening all the time, all night long, all day long, all the time. But he's a creative force, and
Do you have license inside that environment to do your thing? Is that kind of
absolutely,
trust there?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I think that is really interesting, because especially with Alex and with Edward Sharpe, there's no right or wrong way. It's just, let's be creative. I mean, I think it's in many ways probably a lot like how they were making those old Beatles records and those old Hendrix records and all that. When, if Hendrix wanted some kind of delay, when they made it, they're like, how about this?
Right.
So it's very organic, and everyone's opinion matters. And everyone will always listen to each
there's
other.
like hundreds of those zeros.
There's a lot, yeah. There's quite a few, and it can be very tiring
time,
too.
There's like 12 or 15 of them.
Absolutely, yeah. We could be working
they're
for.
not all telling you to turn up the snare in the studio at the same time.
No, but it would be more like we work on guitar for 8 hours, and then Stuart, the trumpet player, might be wanting to do trumpet next, and for another 8 hours. And then,
Did you bring your sense of space and how you create space in a mix, which you guys need to listen to his records because he's the best at that. Did you bring that to the party, or your experience with Alex and the band, did that kind of mature your gift for how you handle space, or was it a combination?
I think it was a little bit of both. I met Alex when he was in a band called I'm a Robot, far different than Edward Sharpe. Great band, yeah. And then Edward Sharpe came out, and I could kind of, it felt like it was kind of along the lines of what I was doing. At the time, though, I was working a lot with Ross, so I was learning some very strong skills of recording. And so then at a certain point, when we had finished up the new Van Halen record, I was assisting Ross on that. When we finished that up, we got a call from Alex saying, hey, you want to be part of this? And it kind of just all worked together. And at a certain point, there was, I had said to Alex, I said, I knew we were going to work together someday. He said, oh, I knew we were going to work together someday. And I think that creatively, it just kind of happened. I think that I have the freedom to be able to try things. In fact, I think that he embraces that, and the band embraces that.
Did you take those same concepts?
Yeah.
into your relationship with Ross, or did you come out of your relationship with Ross with those concepts?
I think that I came out of them. I mean, as a musician, I had things always going on in my head, but it's really
He helped
interesting.
you organize it. And
Yeah, with Ross, I had learned such strong skills as a recording artist and as a traditional producer, producing a band.
Yeah.
And then I walked into a very non-traditional situation with Edward Sharpe where I didn't know what we were going to work on any given day, and at any moment, there's one track I did called One Love to Another, which is on the first record I did, their second record, which I had just turned the console on. I had one AEA 44 up in the room, and the whole song is the AEA 44. Stayed in one place in the room, and we did overdubs. The trumpet player walked around the room 20 feet away doing overdubs. We did an organ overdub, and we didn't want to move the organ, so the organ stayed over in the corner. Our percussion track was the whole band pretty much dancing and slapping the floor and all, and during that Alex took a RCA 77, held it in his hand and sang his vocal track.
Wow.
And you can kind of hear it. The song sounds like a cool old reggae 44 or something, it's great,
cool.
but it was very creative that moment,
Yesterday when we were hanging out, you were working on a song for Edward Sharpe, and you were explaining to me your concept of space, and you were giving me some examples, and we would solo an instrument, and I'd say to myself, that's kind of interesting, and then you'd unsolo it, and I go, oh man,
it fits,
I had that same feeling with some other situations, but never quite like that in terms of the difference between a soloed sound and an unsoloed sound.
Oh yeah.
And so when you describe your love of space and how you use space, it's because you think of the song and the components making it up as one whole, almost as if the one microphone did it all. Is that kind of?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting how I would say probably I've over the past 4 years or so learned that from my work with Edward Sharpe, because there's so many people in the band. We never worried about isolation or anything like that. It was just how many mics could we get up at a time before the magic of the moment kind of passed, and then we would build off that. If we wanted more kick, we'd put another kick in, we'd build off it. But what it's done for me in an interesting way is it's made me embrace bleed. And so, like yesterday when we soloed up the piano, we listened to piano, it sounds all right, it sounds maybe...
It sounded like crap. It didn't sound all right. It sounded pretty bad. Come on, man.
But the way that I mixed that particular song is in a way...
It was amazing.
Right, it fit, it was like a jigsaw puzzle. It fit in, but then it's because there was bleed coming from the group vocals, from Alex's lead, and maybe from the acoustic guitar
I
that was
noticed when
next
you brought
to
the
it.
lead in, the top end of the piano came in.
So do you end up mixing the bleed?
Absolutely. Or like even on Alex's vocal, there was a certain amount of high-end bleed going through the group vocals. So you listen to Alex's vocal on its own, fine, but then when you bring that all in, so I will spend a couple hours and get everything going, and I mix on, I mix it like a half in the box, half in my console. I have a Trident 80 that I mix on, and some outboard gear, and I'll then spend the next day, 2 days, just obsessively tweaking things. But it's all one piece to me. It's very rare that I actually do solo something and keep it soloed.
Obsessive, I think, is the operative word, because I took a little peek over at your Pro Tools screen, and it looked like the Alps. I mean, you had so much automation going on. So is that part of the process?
Absolutely, yeah.
So would it be safe to say that you're taking the best of new technology, combining it with the best of traditional technology, combining it with your taste, combining it with influences from Ross, combining it with a great artist?
It's exactly, I hope so. I mean,
it's a nice
you're
recipe.
the International House of Pancakes.
Man, that's why I don't sleep much. That's why I'm there a lot,
Common problem.
You said one time that mixing requires a lot of trial and error, and that really rang true to me. Can you expand on that for some of the cats just starting out, so they won't feel like we felt when we first started out?
Totally. Well, I mean, there's no right way to get to the finish line, right? So, and especially in the beginning, it's hard to know, like, is this good? I don't know if it's good. I still will ask, someone in the room, do you like this? Does it sound good? And, with mixing, especially mixing is an art that takes a lifetime to learn. I mean, I feel like every day I'm still learning. And
Same here.
you go down a road, at least I do. I'll go try something and go down a road, and I might get down there and be like, wow, this isn't right. But it's not a button you can just push to switch over here. You got to go back and then go down another road.
True.
So it is trial and error. As you get better about it, you can, especially, or, for instance, with Alex and Edward Sharp, our relationship that I've developed with him allows me to kind of see through his eyes and the band's eyes, and be really in tune. And so then we're kind of all together. But there's times I've done mixes and it's like, oh, I just totally missed the boat on that one. But then it's like, all right, well, now talk to me and tell me how did I miss the boat? Because it's fixable.
Right.
I can go back and, I'm an intelligent person. I can fix this,
I'm going to paraphrase severely, but I get the feeling from you that your philosophy, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I'm making this up, that mixing doesn't start when you sit down at the console to mix.
No.
It's already started way farther up the chain.
For me, at least, yeah. I think the minute I start recording is when I'm mixing. I think that there's been a couple times, and not many times, but a couple times where recordings I've done have been mixed by other people. I usually try not to have that happen because when I'm recording,
it's already going on.
It's already going on in my head, and things might sound kind of crazy, just like maybe the piano sounded. Or if I only use 2 mics on a drum set, I'm doing that for a reason to get the bleed going up the wall of Studio B at Ocean Way or something.
Let me be real clear about this. The piano sounded amazing. I'm just when it was soloed, I got a little nervous, but when it was unsoloed and he brought all the tracks in, it was a very eye-opening experience. I'm gonna throw you a curveball, Matt.
All right.
If you had to apply your concepts, and I know the answer, I know you can do this. If you had to apply those same concepts to a mix that only had programmed drums,
Sure.
programmed parts, and no built-in ambience, what would your thought process be? Call me?
Put some bleed in.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, I would probably first start by pushing the instruments so that they were kind of spilling onto each other through my console. There's like a sweet spot I found on the console. I can push them coming out of Pro Tools and then spill it over a little bit, which is cool. And then
You're talking about crosstalk type spillover?
yeah, a little bit of distortion, saturation.
Oh, gotcha.
And then, I would go to town with probably some delays, some slap delays, and triggering reverbs off slaps, and things like that to try to create an environment. And then I probably would try to keep a lot of those in a similar environment. So
Is there a record that you've already done that on that I could go listen to?
Well, I guess maybe a little bit on the Dave Mason record. There's some stuff on that, but it's kind of a cross
Just send me an
between
email
the
if you
two.
think of something.
Yeah.
You were working on a live record for Edward and for Alex, and 39 songs on a record.
Yeah, we're having. Well, I don't know.
Album?
It's not out yet, so I don't know how many's gonna be on there. But we got
could be
39
40,
mastered.
45.
It could be. Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
love
But it's a lot. I spent the better part of a year on this record, on and off, not full time, going through. Picking better the performances, comparing my notes with the band and with Alex, and some of the stuff we didn't know until we've actually mixed it. So I mixed a lot of different versions. But yeah, we do have quite a bit of songs right now that are being mastered.
39, that's incredible. Now here's your problem. He looks athletic. How's
I
your
got
arm?
him.
Is your arm loose?
Yeah, I got a special one for him.
Okay, so then let's throw this Babbage box at him. I expect. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you just fire away. You hear the audience cheering for you. You got the support.
Yelling Dave.
Fire away. I hear
a
it.
bell.
All right.
Guitars.
Well, I like Strats. I like Strats just in the sense that they're on almost everything I do, but I think I prefer Tellys as far as my playing goes.
Vocals.
Stay level.
Ah,
Ooh,
nice.
Gates. Overheads.
Probably a mono 44.
That's a headline.
Bleed.
Reverbs.
EMT 140.
Ooh.
I have one in my studio.
Stereo, mono.
Stereo.
I guess they're
Stereo,
all
no,
mono, aren't they? No, they're not.
I have a stereo tube in my room.
Oh, cool.
It's behind my couch.
The one piece of gear, if you were stranded on an island with a generator, that you would keep, that you would take.
Wow. Maybe the plate. Yeah.
Bass.
P-bass.
The cheapest piece of gear you've used on a hit.
iPhone. Like an app, iPhone app.
Nice.
No joke. Well, I quit, but I'll keep going just because I'm a pro.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Stereo bus.
Dramatic Obsidian.
Son of a bitch is good. Guitar pedal.
I knew he would.
Pog 2. I like that one.
Watch this.
Okay.
Flatulence.
Come on.
De-esser.
A synthesizer. De-asser?
Last one.
Sorry.
Sins?
Yeah.
Junos. I like Junos.
Oh, cool. I quit.
Well, because you said de-asser. I just
You
can't.
said de-asser.
I did. I was going down.
That was good, man.
Cool part
Wait
before
a
you
minute.
wrap it up.
What was the stereo bus thing again?
The Dramatic Obsidian.
Do I know what that is?
No, we'll tell you later because we have to go. A couple things are interesting. One is, I think, the correlation from you learning from Ross, who
Yeah.
you like. Now you're a mentor
Yep.
inside the Recording Connection
I am, yeah.
environment. And you had time with Hannah, who apparently is a really good student.
Yep.
And I think it's really good for our
It was,
audience
a,
to
it was a
know
beautiful relationship.
that education in its right place is cool, and then you got to go out and do your own thing.
Absolutely.
Holler at Brian Kraft and our boys
I
and
will.
Jimmy and stuff over there.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
We're going to be
Thank
doing
you.
a lot more
Cool.
with you, okay?
Sounds
Cool.
great.
Dave, take us home.
Okay. Hey guys, check it out. He did a song. He did a Robert Redford movie. Robert Redford's the only actor in it. There's no dialogue, and all the music is done by him and his partner Alex. What's the name of the movie?
All is lost.
All is Lost. It's pretty cool. I couldn't make it all the way through, but what I saw, I really liked. It really is good. I just didn't have time. But check that out. And he said some things and taught us some things today that have made me rethink a lot of what I'm doing, and give it some thought too, because I think he's onto something. When I hear his records, they move me. They really do. So I want to get that on my records, and I'm gonna steal it.